Getting started in 10 minutes. Throw any links to stories into the Discord. Discord. https discord gg beignet tridx 8. Where's Waldo?
Oh, hello. How you doing? My name is Waldo Space Lasers, and I am here to feel the politics with you because everything is political and politics is all feelings. So today, I've got a handful of headlines and stuff like that to talk about. Um, I've got a handful of stories lined up, and I might have some people IRL coming over to my house, probably at around noon. That's about 2 hours. So today we'll just be headlines, no video games, and probably over right at 12. So, but if we get here early, I might have to drop early. Uh, Huge apologies, but that's how IRL works. I hate it. It's terrible. I'd much rather be here virtual with you. So, how's everybody doing? Come on in. If you are here, you're paying attention, hop into chat, uh, say hello. The robot lady should be on at the moment. Is the robot lady on?
Robot test.
Robot test. Correct. So, what we'll do is just say hello, get started, do a little bit of intro stuff. Tell me what you're thinking, tell me what you're playing, tell me what you're watching. Super fun stuff. And then I'll swap over to the news headlines. We'll talk about those. I'll turn the robot lady off, and then we'll talk about it afterwards, stuff like that. And then I'll make some content out of this and turn it into YouTube videos. Um, Also, if you are, can I play the slots? I've never tried. Every time somebody chats,
Slots. The result is at sorry keep trying you lost 50 points.
I lose too. See, because it's not rigged. See, it's not rigged. Every time you chat, you get 5 points, and you can use the points to play the silly slot machine, and it is lots of fun. You will get addicted to it, and if you get enough points, we will turn them into bitcoins. I don't know how. Um, we'll use alchemy to turn these imaginary points into bitcoins. That is my unofficial, not true promise. All right, so let's get started with the news. See what's going on. Let me make sure this is going to work. I'm sure it's going to work, right? OBS wouldn't not work for me, right? Hey, OBS worked first try. Amazing. All right, we're hopping right into the conspiracy bait right away, immediately. Conspiracy. Turn off the robot lady. Bam, robot lady off. And let's look at this. All right, folks, here we go. Alex Jones here, here to talk about the biolab that was in California. The It was filled with Chi-Coms. The Chinese communists were running an entire biolab right there in California. They're coming for you, folks. They're creating new COVIDs. Don't take the Fauci ouchie. All right, what do we got? We've got um, the House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party. Right out, that's their name. That's the name they chose. Like, I didn't call them that. I didn't invent that. They chose to call themselves the House Select Committee on Chinese Communist Party. Well, anyway, on Wednesday, they issued a report about an illegal biolab that was discovered in Reedley, California, and called for a more coordinated response from federal agencies on similar issues across the country. Um, The committee's report came after the subpoena was issued in September in relation to a lab found inside an old Reedley warehouse where multiple agencies investigated a number of infectious diseases and hazardous chemicals, including COVID-19, malaria, HIV, and hepatitis. This is an actual issue, but I think they're making it scarier than it actually is. I mean, technically there are humans carrying COVID-19 around, right? Uh, it's in a petri dish. It's scary. Well, yeah, it's scary that it's in a lab, but you know what? It's also in people. There's someone in Target right now carrying around a whole bunch of COVID-19, maybe, and HIV. Yeah, there's somebody in a Walmart right now carrying HIV around. inside their body. So don't be too scared that this was in a lab. In October, authorities say it arrested Jai Beizu. Oh my God, he's Chinese. On suspicion of manufacturing and distributing misbranded medical devices and making false statements to federal agencies in connection with the lab. The committee said Zhu is a citizen of China who had also lived in Canada and accused him of transporting infectious diseases as well as stealing American and Canadian intellectual property. The committee also said Zhu was reportedly working with companies affiliated with the Chinese government and already had a warrant for his arrest and operated under an alias. So, yeah, this is not a good thing. I don't think this is some sort of bioterrorism. That's not what this is. This is just a guy making money. Uh, California representatives Jim Costin, Kevin McCarthy serve on the committee. Uh, they criticized the slow action of the federal agencies in responding to the concerns from the local officials. It further outlined that the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Centers for Disease Control, initially declined to step in or investigate despite repeated calls. Okay, listen, Kevin McCarthy, you specifically, Mr. Kevin McCarthy, have been responsible for shutting the government down, slowing their responses, and telling everybody that they're worthless. We don't need a federal government. Why do we need all this stuff? Give it to the states. The government is slow, and Republicans make it slower. They do. That's their job. That's their entire political platform. Make the government slower. Especially if it's not controlled by Republicans. If it's not being controlled by Republicans, make it slower. Slow it down. Do not let it accomplish anything. Gum up those works until Republicans in charge, and even then, you do just the basic. Government power needs to be lowered. That is the entire Republican plan. That is their guarantee, their promise to you. They will lower the power of the federal government. But here he is complaining about it. And then complaining that it's slow for political points. Exactly. That is the game. Kevin McCarthy, you made the government slower. You made the government less likely to react to this issue. Especially because it's a biolab with COVID-19 in California, you know? I heard about this back in September. I really did. Yeah, I think it was September. A friend of mine linked me the document because it was conspiracy bait, and I love conspiracy bait. So he linked it to me, and I saw some lunatic mayor piece of shit from Reedley just railing, crying and blubbering about how uh, this was the Chinese government infiltrating the America to fill us full of diseases, and that was what he was talking about. This actual uh, official in Reedley was very worried that the next COVID outbreak was going to happen right there in his town because this Chinese guy was a spy who was going to release a whole bunch of toxins and bioweapons into California. If that were true, we would want a government to come in and step in and say, "Hey, what's going on? What are you doing? Let's take care of this." But Republicans make the government weak, they make it slow, and then when they want it to work properly, it doesn't. Don't put Republicans in charge. Don't put them in power. Do not give them the ability to slow the government down and make it useless and then complain about it. Don't vote for Republicans. Simple. Very easy solution to this issue, Kevin McCarthy. Stop being Republican. We don't want to elect you to screw up the government, and then when we need the government, it isn't there. Um, and then he fear mongers a little bit because that's what they do. How many more labs like this are throughout America? Is China involved in other labs inside of America? Oh my God. So a little bit of fear mongering to get him more power. I don't get it, man. I don't know why anybody would vote for Republican. I don't get it. They promise to make everything worse, then they do, And then when things are worse, you complain about it, and then they come on and brag about how bad it is and vote for them. Well, you're the ones that made it worse. How do they think the treatments for infectious diseases created? Created in labs, the samples of those diseases. Absolutely. That is, uh, that's not what was happening in this lab. This lab was a scam. They were just trying to make money off of selling fake devices and stuff like that. This was not a good thing that was happening in this lab. But yes, labs exist. And that used to be a complaint from Republicans. They used to say, even Jon Stewart said at one time, um, or maybe it was Stephen Colbert, one of those guys, said, "Hey, why why did this COVID-19 thing come out of Wuhan, China, where a infectious lab is? You know, that's suspicious. Yeah, it's suspicious. But follow me here. Imagine for a moment you were a researcher and you wanted to research walruses. Walruses, the big, ugly, stanky sea mammals. They live in cold weather, they live in the ocean, and you're going to study them. Where would you build your walrus research facility? Would you build it in Phoenix, Arizona? No. That's in the mountains. Yeah, KPP is on board. Would you build it in the mountains? Would you build it in Phoenix, Arizona? Of course not. There are no walruses there. There are no walruses in Phoenix, Arizona. There are no walruses in the mountains. So you would build your walrus research facility where the walruses are. I think they're in the north. I don't remember. Or they're south. I don't remember. Are they Antarctica or are they Arctic? I don't remember. You would build it in the Arctic next to where they live so that you could open your door, look outside, and see walruses. That's the plan. So if if we take that logic and use it on, uh, uh, I would because I don't like the cold and wet. Bring them to me. Yeah, Shinseto would build it in Phoenix, Arizona. Bring the walruses to him. They'll die. Anyway, uh, if we use that logic on infectious diseases, you would have to go to where the infectious diseases start. And they start in Wuhan, China, at that wet market. That's why it has the infectious disease research center there, because that's where they come from. That is where germs live and multiply and just mingle and mix with each other. And they're just disgusting primordial soup that is that wet lab, because millions of people get their food from there. That wet market. Sorry, I said wet lab. That wet market is older than the United States. Imagine that for a minute. The U.S. We forget sometimes that things are old. That wet market has been in that place longer than America has existed. That's why the CDC is in Georgia, is because of all the disgusting, filthy germs there. That makes sense. I'm on board. But yes, that is why the Wuhan lab is there. That's why it went there. That's why they put it there. And that's why it should be there. Is it a lab leak? Possibly. It's entirely possible. And I'm not even saying, uh, um, yes, it was a conspiracy, but it's entirely possible that COVID-19 got started in that wet market. One of the researchers took samples, brought it into the lab, started testing with it, figured out what was going on, and then caught it himself and then carried it out of the lab. That doesn't mean you don't have to wear a mask. That doesn't mean you don't have to get your shots. That doesn't mean don't have to get your boosters. If it hadn't been carried out of that lab, it would have been carried out of the wet market by a person. That doesn't change anything. That doesn't mean that Fauci lied to you. No, it doesn't matter. COVID, that doesn't bring a million people back from the dead. Oh, we found out it was a lab leak. A million people aren't dead anymore. No, still a thing. Still have to get your COVID shots. Still have to get your boosters. Still have to wear a mask. Sometimes, not anymore though. If it were a lab leak, it's not going to give you those 2 years back. Just not. What else do we have to talk about today? We have Speaker Mike Johnson spent years defending Christian speech in public schools. Get him out. Get those emo Waldos. Here we go. Here we go. The ultimate goal of the enemy is silencing the gospel, the Republican said in 2004 after Jewish parents sued a school for pushing Christianity on their kids. Yes, Mike Johnson, you got my number. My goal is to silence the gospel. It's my goal. It's what I want. I want you to have less power. I want a separation between the government and your religion, specifically yours, Mike Johnson, especially yours. Let's see. He spent 8 years as senior attorney for Alliance Defending Freedom, an evangelical legal group focused on dismantling LGBTQ rights and outlawing abortion, because that's all he cares about, gay people and abortion. It was in his role there that Johnson, a constitutional lawyer, took up case after case aimed at chipping away the separation of church and state. Exactly. What's alarming about this pattern in his background is that it raises questions about whether the House Speaker, the person second in line to the U.S. presidency, actually third, why would they say second here, disputes the first freedom guaranteed by the First Amendment in the Constitution. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. I would like to keep them separate. He does not want to keep them separate. He wants his religion to be in charge. And I do not want that. That's a bad thing. Let's not do that. Let's avoid that. So this is a very old story, and it's just because Mike Johnson is now a famous and important person. He wasn't famous and important until he became speaker, and now everybody's looking backward to find out what he thinks and what he's talking about and what he's going to push and what's going to happen in the future. Doesn't look good. I would use this as another reason not to pay attention to Republicans or listen to them or talk about them at all. I mean, we have to talk about them, but you shouldn't listen to them. They aren't serious people. I'll do a little monologue. I got some notes on stuff, and I'll turn it into a short later. Probably towards the end here. What else is in that news? This is very old news, and it's just old stuff popping up. Oh, so this is new news. Calls for conditions in aid to Israel add to Democrats' divisions. So the leftists are unhappy with Joe Brandon because he's giving so much support to Israel. The leftists think that Israel is doing a bad job here. They're doing an ethnic cleansing. They're doing an apartheid state, an ethnic cleansing, a genocide of an entire people. We would like to not support that. So that makes the leftists upset with him. Why are you freaking out, Internet? Come on. I just told you to pause. Good God. So that I can watch you in a minute. Anyway. But it's common among American politics to support Israel 100%. And if you don't, you're generally called anti-Semitic, or the ADL will call you names and spend tons of money to get you unelected. Because they have political aims based on feelings. All politics is feelings. So they have a feeling that Jewish people are more important and better and more civilized than their Palestinian counterparts, and they should be living there in Jerusalem. Get rid of those other people. It's Jewish land, and get rid of the Arabs and Muslims. That is a feeling they have. I don't completely respect that feeling. I want them to have a place to live, but I want everybody to have a place to live, and I would like them to both stop killing each other. Both sides are at fault here. The Jewish side is at fault for creating an apartheid state and an open air prison that's forcing these people to live as second class citizens and not giving them rights. And the Palestinian people are at fault for supporting Hamas with their terrorism. So both sides are at fault here. I would like them to stop doing that. And I think the first stop is, again, email Waldo's in chat, stop being religious. Quit doing it. It's not helping you. It's only harming you. So let's hear what Joe Brandon has to say.
None were included today.
We don't know when that will occur, but we expect it to occur. And we don't know what the list of all the hostages are and when they'll be released, but we know the numbers they're going to be released. So it's my hope and expectation will be soon.
And of the 10 Americans that are unaccounted for, do you know all of their conditions? Are they all alive?
We don't know all the conditions.
Mr. President, there are members of your party who would like to see conditions placed on aid to Israel. What is your view on that? They would like to see, the deductions, the bombing, that sort of thing.
Well, I think that's a worthwhile thought, but I don't think if I started off with that, we'd ever gotten to where we are today. We have to take this a piece at a time.
Mr. President, do you trust Hamas to uphold their individual?
I don't trust Hamas to do anything right. I only trust Hamas to respond to pressure.
Okay, so he's in a difficult spot, Joe Brandon. He is in a very difficult spot. If he supports Israel entirely, the left will abandon him, and he will lose. If he is too hard on Israel, the center will abandon him, and he will lose. If he does something that the right wing loves, the right will talk shit about him, and they'll never vote for him anyway, so he will lose. So he's not in a good position. This is probably the worst possible thing that could have happened to him for this next upcoming election year in 24. So it's not looking great. His numbers are down on the left, but it's the worst possible thing that could have happened to him in this election year. Let's see. The battle among Democrats over U.S. policy on Israel has found a new front this month in the form of liberals' calls to set conditions on any new military aid delivered to Tel Aviv. So we will give you these weapons, but you have to calm down on the murdering. We will give you defenses, but you gotta just stop killing civilians, That's the condition. Please stop murdering innocent babies. A number of leading progressives in both the House and Senate have warned in recent days that they would oppose any aid packages that fails to apply new limits on Israel's forceful engagement with Palestine in the wake of Hamas' brutal attack in the Israeli civilians last month, including strikes on Gaza that have killed thousands more Palestinian civilians. So yeah, they're winning at the moment. I mean, Israel's winning. They've killed way more of the enemy. They're winning. Their score is higher, which is fine if you're in a war. The blank check must end, Sanders wrote. The United States must make clear that while we are friends of Israel, there are conditions to that friendship, and that we cannot be complicit in actions that violate international law and our own sense of decency. Again, Bernie is correct, always correct. He's always right. I don't know why he's not the president, but he's right about everything. Okay, so this, I brought up this one because, oops, let's scoot it over a little bit so we can see it. Unlock, just scoot, there we go. 3 general election debates are scheduled for 2024 and neither party has committed to a 10-day. Do you guys think that we will actually have presidential debates? I'm not convinced that we will. There's a good chance neither one of these fools show up. Biden doesn't want to talk to Trump because he's a fascist. Trump will refuse to show up either because he's literally at trial or can't make it, or actually in jail. That would be my favorite. Or he just doesn't think that he'll get anything out of it. He won't get the headlines he wants. He won't get the roaring crowd. He will be expected to follow some sort of rules, decorum, and bit of, I don't know what, politeness. He will have to be on his best behavior, and he don't like that. He doesn't want that. That doesn't get the crowds going. That doesn't get the headlines. That doesn't get the woos and the cheers, and it doesn't get the people retweeting your stuff. so he won't show up. And if he's not showing up and Biden won't show up, there won't be a debate. I'm thinking that there may not be any. What I think will happen is they both will pay for TV time, and within like an hour, they'll both pay for it at the same time, and we'll have to watch one and then the other. I will stream those if and when they happen, but I don't think it'll be a head-to-head actual debate like we had last time. I don't think that's going to happen. Tell me what you guys think. If you think this is going to happen, if you think it's not, let me know. All right. Book that venue to keep that revenue stream going. You think Trump will? What do you mean? Like Trump will do the thing he usually does, which is just have a rally. He'll do the same thing. I think he's going to do the same thing he's doing now with these Republican debates. The Republican debates are happening. None of them are going to win. I mean, I've watched 3 of the damn things now. There's just no way any of those people are going to win. It's not going to happen. Unless Trump is specifically, literally stopped from running by the law, which may not be happening. He might be in jail, but at the same time, the Republican Party, the head of the RNC, will absolutely let him run from jail. Yeah, absolutely let him run from jail. They won't stop him. They could if they wanted to. I mean, the RNC isn't a law-abiding institution. They have rules that aren't laws. Not debates, just ChatGPT and robo voices will play sound bites. Yeah, it'll be great. It'll be lots of fun. We'll have ChatGPT do the debates. I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. Maybe I'll just hop on there and be like, write me Joe Biden's debate speech on ChatGPT. That could be funny. All right, since we're talking about him, Trump's attacks on judge and law clerk trigger hundreds of threats. So this is why he needs the gag order. He won't accept that, but the former president went on another tear against the civil fraud case in an unglued Thanksgiving message to the New York Attorney General, Judge Arthur Engoron, and other targets of his ire. Let's see. Donald Trump celebrated the Thanksgiving holiday this week by taking advantage of a pause in the gag order he'd been under in his civil fraud trial, attacking New York Attorney General Letitia James and Arthur Engoron and the law clerk. All right, I think I've got the whole thing right here. There we go. So good. Obvious. Okay, here we go. Happy Thanksgiving to all, including the racist, incompetent Attorney General of New York State, Letitia Peekaboo James. Peekaboo? Who has let murder and violent crime flourish and businesses flee. The radical left Trump-hating judge, a psycho Arthur Engoron, who criminally defrauded the state of New York and me by purposely devaluing my assets in a tiny fraction of what they are really worth in order to convict me of fraud before even a trial, before seeing any proof. No, he saw the proof. You fucking liar. Dude, God, come on. He saw the proof. And then he made a decision. Used his politically biased and corrupt campaign finance violator, Chief Clerk Allison Greenfield, to sit by his side on the bench and tell him what to do. And crooked Joe Biden, who was weaponized his Department of Justice against all political opponents and allowed our country to go to hell, and of the radical left lunatics, communist, fascist, Marxist, Democrats, and rhinos who are seriously looking into destroying our country, have no fear. However, we will win the presidential election in 2024, make America great again. Good God. That is some Alex Jones level tier shit. It really is. Peekaboo sounds like a racist dog. I don't know if it is or not. I feel like that peekaboo is a slur. Oh, great. He meant a slur that rhymes with that, and it auto-corrected. Maybe. We can't say it's not. Okay, so much. The man lies on a level that nobody else can. It's amazing. Racist and competent. No, not true. Just making things up. So lots of fun. Peekaboo. I have no idea why this might be a racist thing. I don't know. Who let murder and violent crime flourish? I doubt that's true. I have a feeling that it's not true. And businesses flee. Probably. I don't know. There's a whole lot of things that reasons why her business would leave New York. The radical left Trump-hating judge, psycho, no, not true, criminally defrauded the state and me. No, he didn't. Purposely valuing my assets at a tiny fraction of what they were really worth in order to convict me of fraud. No, he didn't do that. He didn't convict you of fraud before the trial. He convicted you of fraud in the trial after seeing the proof. You're lying again. Uses politically biased and corrupt campaign finance violator. Not true. Allison Greenfield to sit by his side on the bench and tell him what to do. So the judge is taking orders from Allison Greenfield because she's so powerful? That's nonsense. Crooked Joe Biden, who's weaponized? No, he hasn't weaponized. He has had his hands off of this entirely. This is the state of New York. Has nothing to do with Joe Brandon at all. In any way has anything to do with him. Allowed our country to go to hell. It's not actually in hell. Actually, right now, it's the same as it's always been. Radical left lunatics, communists, fascists, blah, blah, blah. Seriously looking to destroy our country. No. I want to make our country better. Donnie, listen, Donnie. Leftism will make the country better. Not destroy it. Not worse. Not, it will change it for the better. And I think I can actually make arguments to prove that. But the man is a ramble machine. It's the same as AJ's excuse. They try to misrepresent the conclusion because most of their listeners don't understand the difference between civil and criminal trials. Exactly. The people hearing this and loving it, the people who saw this and were like, yeah, we love it, the people on Truth Social, do not know what's real. They have been gaslit so hard by Republicans. They don't know where they are anymore. They don't know what's real. They don't know what exists. They don't know what's proper. They don't know what's up. They don't know what's down. They are absolutely in a imaginary minefield. And that's what my notes are about later. Imagination of Republicans is amazing. They have some of the most powerful and amazing imaginations you can imagine. Well, that's a stupid sentence, but they're very imaginative, and they will imagine things that are coming to get them that are going to harm them, and then tell you how real they are and how they're actually super important and very, very dangerous. But I'm getting ahead of myself. That is for in a minute. Or I could do it right now since I'm on the subject. So, I made a little list here. All right. Trans groomers. Millions of dead people voting for Biden. Hunter's laptop. Caravans. 4 million fake votes for Hillary. Hillary's email server. The Ground Zero Mosque. Immigrants coming across the southern border to take your job. Jewish people replacing white people with brown people. The Jews will not replace it. It's a whole thing. Obama's jackbooted thugs coming to take your guns. Welfare queens with 12 kids driving Cadillacs and Jewish space lasers. What do all these things have in common? They're not real. None of that's real. None of it is real. It's imaginary. But each one of those things you've probably heard of are very important to Republican politics. They really are. Those are the Republican talking points that I'm looking at. Even though they're fictitious, they have played an important part in our politics. And I had to learn about each one. I had to pay attention to it. I had to learn about it. I had to figure out what it was and then figure out why it's not real. Conservatives, listen. Conservatives, Republicans, if you want me to take you seriously, get real. Get real. Talk about actual things. Talk about real stuff. Don't just repeat the unreality that is fed to you. Those were all unreal things. Stop being the party of unreality. That's what a lot of it is about. You're right. A lot of that is about that racism and bigotry, which are again why would you dislike a person based on the color of their skin? Because they're different. Imagine you're worried that they're going to be different, or they're going to take from you when yours. Those brown people are going to come up through the southern border and they're going to take from you. Your kids aren't going to get a good education because those brown kids are going to steal it from them. Your kids aren't going to get a good education. Aren't going to get a job. You're not going to get a good job because those brown people are going to come over and take it from you, and that's unacceptable in the Republican brain because they are xenophobic. Yes, they do not care that those are also people. That's what bothers me about it sometimes. Those are people crossing the border. But according to you, they're not allowed to be here. Why? Because you drew a line in the dirt? Who cares? This is why I'm anti-border. Who cares what side of the line in the dirt you're on? Doesn't make a difference. It's just a person. Um, and now they're doing the old-fashioned thing. They're saying that Hamas is coming across the border from the south. That's insane. Just because you can't tell the difference between a Palestinian and a Mexican doesn't mean they can't. First of all, how would a Palestinian Hamas agent get to Mexico? Good God. They can't get out of their own country. they're being bombed all to hell, and they have almost nothing. There's no way they're getting there. Are the tunnels that long? Do they dig a tunnel that far across the Atlantic Ocean all the way under to Mexico? Seems unlikely. They said the same thing about the Taliban. Absolutely. They definitely said that about the Taliban. I spoke to an actual, literal human being, IRL, back in the day, who, oh God, what year was this? This was way back in the day. This was 2006 or 2007 or something like that. He really hated Obama, and I worked with him, and he hated Obama, and he told me that if Obama is elected, Al Qaeda is going to come across the Mexican border. What? What? How would that even happen? How could that even possibly happen? He couldn't tell the difference between an Afghanistan person and a Mexican person. He couldn't. If you put two of them together, he couldn't tell which one was which. But they can. The drug trade that's in Mexico. Well, you know what they would do if they found an Afghanistan person? They would murder them immediately, quietly, silently, and bury them in the desert, and no one would ever hear about it. Because one terrorist, one person from Al Qaeda crosses that southern border, the entire thing becomes a battlefield. The actual army would show up and post up a guy at every single inch and aim guns south. The drug runners don't want that. The drug dealers who move cocaine and weed north and then guns and money south don't want that. They would murder any Hamas person they find. Obama's going to the border to unlock the screen door to let them in. That's right. He was going to go there and just undo the latch and just let them all in. Anyway, that's a lot of ranting. Stop ranting, Walter. What are we talking about? What are we thinking about? So he's attacking people. Oh, and it caused a whole lot of. So how did we get on this topic? Donald Trump said a lot of mean things, and then his friends gave death threats and anti-Semitic rants, inundated Justice Arthur Engoron and his law clerk after the former president attacked them on social media. Court security officials say in affidavit, yeah, his words have consequences. I don't. What is this one about? Oh, I just clicked on this one. It is. The poison continues to spread. Legal losses fail to quell election denial hotbed. Cochise County, Arizona, has been convulsed by the actions of two Republican supervisors who question the integrity of elections and face huge legal costs. This isn't even about Donald Trump in 2020. These are local Arizona elected officials in local elections, who are questioning the integrity of those elections and gumming up the works, ruining the local level politics. This is the Republican Party now. This is where we are. This is where it's going to go. This is the future of our entire politics, is piss ants from Cochise County, Arizona, place you've never heard of, never been to, and will never be, are questioning the integrity of the elections that they lost, costing that area money and harming them. The Republican-led county on the U.S.-Mexico border has had to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees and settlements for the lawsuit it faced in the wake of Crosby and Judd's decision. They have lost in court multiple times in their request to prevent machine counting, part of an ongoing right-wing effort to switch to hand counts and stall the election results. I didn't get my way, so it's rigged. Privileges, pestilent children. Yeah, you're right. That's exactly what's happening. And it's costing this place money. It's harming that community. Their cries that it's rigged, their privilege and their lawsuits are costing American people money. It's harming them. Stop doing it. Stop letting them do it. The elections department has had 4 different leaders in the past year. A longtime election director left because of hostile work environment, followed by the county's recorder taking over her duties. The county then hired a director who had questioned election results in the past, only to see that director leave quickly to return to the previous county he worked in, which he called a welcoming home. The current director, Tim Maddox, has been on the job since October to settle a lawsuit from the former director, Lisa Mara, who left because of a toxic work environment. And we have that again, caused by the 2 supervisors. The county's insurance paid out $130,000. Other legal fees, primarily in the form of paying the cost of the other side's attorneys and losses, have totaled nearly $170,000. So that's taxpayer money going to fund nonsense, to fund a whiny child throwing a fit. The rural red county has become a microcosm of far-right election fervor that's featured a host of conspiracies and attempts to curtail voting access. Proponents have pushed the county to hand count all ballots, get rid of any machines involved in the voting process, and end voting by mail and vote solely on one day. They have rarely pointed to any specific claims of fraud in Cochise's elections, but instead called out problems in other places, cited potential issues. They have rarely pointed out any specific claims of fraud. We are suing for voter fraud. Have you any specific evidence? No. Suing for voter fraud anyway. This will come to every state. This will come to every county. This will be the dragging into the muck of our entire political system. Every county will have this. Every Republican will do this. All of them. If they don't win, will drag us down into the muck. Drag it down. Gum up the works. Stop it from moving. Stop it from operating. Sue everybody. Thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines and stuff. Drag it down until nothing functions. And that will be the end for us. It really will. People won't believe the elections. If they don't get their way, it will stop all American democracy. It's coming to an end. And it's coming to an end because Republicans refuse to accept a loss. And their followers love it. Reward them. The fans of Donald Trump reward him for not accepting that loss. They love it. They want it. They don't live in reality. They do not accept arithmetic. They do not accept election losses. They do not accept that they are unpopular. Donald Trump lost the popular vote to Hillary. He lost the popular vote to Joe Biden. He got fewer votes than both of them. He won that first one. He didn't win the second one. They refuse to accept it. They refuse to know it. They refuse to even acknowledge that those things happened. And this is where we're headed. This is where we're coming. This is the future right here. I make a lot of predictions, and I'm telling you, this is the one that worries me the most. Florida's Don't Say Gay law could be coming to a workplace next. All right. The Don't Say Gay bill was expanded to the workplace if HB 599, introduced by Republican lawmakers, is passed during the 2024 legislative session. So they're trying to expand this from schools to workplaces, because that's how it works now. Florida does not want you to be there. Like, if you're in Florida, leave. Just go somewhere else. But that's the part of the problem also. That's not a good solution. If you have the money to leave, if you have the wherewithal to leave the place that you live to go somewhere else, it's expensive to move. Find a new job, it's a whole thing. They will just have, it will just become a hard right position. The whole state will be ruby red, and there will be no blue votes. There will be no centrist votes if everybody leaves. And that is the plan that Republicans have. Make it miserable to live there unless you're a conservative. And then everyone who isn't conservative will leave, and then they'll win every time. It's a bad time to be in Florida. There's no right answer that I can come up with. I don't know what to do about that. So let's see. The bill goes farther by prohibiting employees from being penalized on the basis of deeply held religious or biological based beliefs, and makes it unlawful to require employees to undergo training regarding sexual or gender identity and expression. So it is unlawful to train employees on how to be polite to each other. That's weird. That's bad. I don't like that. Deeply held religious beliefs. Again, Ema Waldo's in chat, as always. This is generally your problem. If we got rid of those deeply held religious beliefs, this would go away on its own. It would simply go away on its own. These problems go away on their own. I think this just goes on to describe what it was, but here's the overview. Florida statute with defined terms and an employment policy relating to an individual's sex specifies the applicability of the employment policy to certain employers, prohibiting mandatory use, provision, or solicitation of specific titles and pronouns by employees or contractors. They're telling you what you can and cannot say. Yeah, they will have. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Shinsudo. They will have to go through training on how not to offend Catholic Kathy. That is training that's acceptable. You have to go through this training to make sure that you're not using the wrong words when you're speaking to Kathy because of her deeply held religious beliefs. But if someone would like to be called he, you do no, we're going to shut that shit down. You're not allowed to do that. It's literally backward. This is regressive. I know they call that, I'm a leftist and we often have progressives and we try to progress, but this is regressive. Prohibits penalization or adverse actions against an employee or contractors for not using certain titles or pronouns. Protects employees' deeply held religious or biologically based beliefs from being a basis for adverse personnel reactions. Yeah, you're right. Again, Muslim and Jewish people don't get these fucking protections. They won't get this. Gay people won't be. I won't. A person who's trying to flout this law won't be able to call Jim she out of spite. If you wanted to, if I wanted to call the man next to me she, they would get on to me. But if somebody wanted to willingly change their pronouns, you wouldn't be allowed to say it. That's so fucking stupid. It's so stupid. Florida, you're filled with stupid right now. You're creating laws that don't need to be there, yet you tell me you are a conservative and you don't want the government in your life. What are you doing? Provides administrative and civil remedies for the violations and grants authority of the Department of Management Services to create rules. Yeah, because that's what conservatives love, is more government, more rules. This is a huge increase in government. Conservatives, this is a huge increase in government. Don't you hate that? I thought you wanted smaller government. I thought you wanted to shrink down the government. Yet here you are, increasing it, making more of it. Because you hate trans people. You hate gay people. You have to create a giant, nightmarish government that tells you what you can and cannot say because you hate trans people. You conservatives do not have ethos. They don't have principles. They do not have guidelines. They just have a list of people they hate. And they will make laws and rules to harm the people they hate. All right, what do we got here? Yeah, if it hurts the people I've been told, if it hurts the people I've been told I don't like, it's okay. That's right. Just harm the right people. That's what they need the government to do. Conservatives just want the government to hurt the people they don't like. That's it. That's the only thing they want the government to do. Hurt the people they don't like. Don't like gay people? Hurt them. Don't like trans people? Hurt them. Don't like gay books in school? Shut that shit down. Don't like Muslims? Hurt them. Don't like Palestinians? I was in the middle of a real good rant and my headphones die. Don't like Palestinians? Hurt them. Don't like Afghans? Hurt them. That's it. That's all they want the government to do. Hurt the people they don't like. Mm-hmm. All right. Did you guys see the bridge thing? So a car exploded on the bridge. Um, it was the Rainbow Bridge near Niagara Falls. So the Rainbow Bridge near Niagara Falls had a car explode. Republicans immediately ran out and screamed, "Terrorism! Oh my God, it's the new 9/11." It wasn't. The crash, which caused an explosion, which occurred on the U.S. side of the bridge to Canada, prompted the closure of nearby border crossings and initially speculation of possible terrorism, which intensified after Fox News incorrectly reported that it was an attempted terrorist attack. So, the conservative network walked back the report after authorities said there was no indication the attack was motivated by terrorism. In a statement Wednesday night, the FBI's Buffalo division said that there were no explosive materials found and the matter had been referred to local police as a traffic investigation. Several Republican politicians, again, because of their imagination, suggested it was a terror-related and used the incident to stoke fears about immigration. Senator Ted Cruz, very imaginative guy he is. The explosion at Rainbow Bridge was a terrorist attack. He never issued a correction after the FBI shared its conclusion, and the tweet still remains on X, formerly Twitter, pages of Friday morning. Representative Anna Polina wrote, "We need to lock down the borders immediately. Full deportation efforts need to begin. The U.S. does not need to be the world's hospitality suite any longer." Deportation efforts need to begin because of her imagination. This is the point I keep getting to. She imagines a problem, and her solution is to get rid of all the people she doesn't like. Let's see. Carrie Lake, Arizona MAGA star, running for the U.S. Senate, said there might have been an attempted terror attack, and if so, our worst fears are being realized. Joe Biden is inviting this kind of chaos into our country. It was a traffic accident. Your imagination is running wild, Carrie Lake. It's only a matter of time before the bad people took him up on his offer. So they imagine that Joe Brandon has opened the door to all the immigrants who ever wanted to come here. They can just waltz in and out anytime they want, doing anything they want. They're allowed to come here and break all the laws because nobody is going to stop them. That's their imagination. And that imagination sees a car accident as a real good reason to deport the people they don't like. This is why I don't take you seriously. You are not real, conservatives. You're not real. Get real. conservatives. Maybe that's my new catchphrase. Get real, conservatives. All right. What do we got here? Oh, yeah, okay. So the Moms for Liberty are Nazis. You know that, right? Moms for Liberty, Nazis. That's all there is to it. They are Nazis. Democrats who swept Moms for Liberty off school board fight the superintendent's $700,000 exit deal. School superintendents get golden parachutes now, it seems. That's weird, right? Like, I don't like that idea at all. Shouldn't you give that $700,000 to the school or the children? Wouldn't that be nice? But apparently, they get golden parachutes now. I just want to know about that. I know, yeah, blah blah blah. They're Nazis. I know that. That's not a surprise. I want to know about this. The particular circumstances of the case are even more egregious. The board gave Dr. Luckenbach a 40% salary increase in late July of this year, making him the second highest paid school district superintendent in Pennsylvania. He's now using that to increase less than 4 months later than to calculate a severance payment. Luckenbach's package includes more than $300,000 of unused sick, vacation, administrative, and personnel time during his 18 years of various roles within the district, $50,000 for signing the deal, health insurance for his family through June. Okay. This might not be as nightmarish as I thought. I mean, that seems like a lot to pay them, but I don't want him to have a golden parachute, but this might be a little bit of an exaggerated claim there. I think I heard some pitter patters of little feet. There they are. Come here, little feet. Oh, come on. The internet loves our dogs. Here we go. Oh, bark boy break. Oh, look. It's Lewis. Lewis is a bark boy. He barks. No, not Bobo this time. This is Lewis. We got two of them. So this is Louie, and he likes to bark at me. He likes to bark at everything, all the time, constantly. Say hello, Lewis. You're on the internet. He's very scared. I don't usually pick him up because he doesn't like being picked up. All right, Lou, go on. Where's Bobo? He's right there too. He's got a shirt on. He's incredibly cute. Come here, Bobo. There you are. Come here. Ah. Oh, yeah, there's Bobo, the baby bark boy. There he is. Look at him. He's got a little shirt on. He's got a hood and big ears. You know. Hi, Bobo. These are the noises that you hear in the background all the time. All right, so let's get onto this last one right here. Let's scoot it over so everybody can see it. It's not a good headline. Ex-officer Derek Chauvin, convicted in George Floyd's killing, was stabbed in prison. Yeah, he was part of a gang before he went to prison. The gang that wore blue and had badges. And then he went to jail, and then the other gangs there didn't like him. It's not a pleasant thing. It's not good. It's not. I'm not happy about it. I don't want anybody in jail to be stabbed. I don't want anybody to be in jail. But this is going to happen. It's unfortunate but ironic that he was stabbed on Black Friday. Damn it. Good point. He was stabbed on Black Friday. You think they waited? You think that was like the gang was like, dude, that's Derek Chauvin. We got to stab him. But wait. Let's make it funnier. Let's wait until Black Friday. Oh, brilliant. Okay. I'm so glad that happened on Black Friday. I'm not glad it happened. It's not good that it happened. Don't stab people in prison. But if you are going to do it, stab that guy on Black Friday. Okay. I'm going to get canceled for that. God. All right. Turning on the robot lady. Done with the news for now.
Slashing prices.
Slashing prices on Friday, on Black Friday. So yeah, that is everything for the news for today. I appreciate everybody who came by. Thank you for being here. Thanks for
And Exco PD.
and PD. I don't know what you're saying. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming. What kind of things should I talk about on the next stream? Follow me on the YouTube to watch the videos. So what I'll do is I'll take all these, I'll chop them into little bits, turn each one into a little segment, and put that onto the YouTube so we can watch it.
Xcops damn autocorrect.
And then, what is the plan? So I think that I will be back on Monday. Normal headlines, then video game stream on Monday. Wednesday, headlines and video game stream again. But then, you know what happens Thursday? Classy WoW. It's time for Classy WoW on Thursday. So I might, we're going to launch at like 3 p.m. or something like that, I would suspect. That's what my sources are telling me. So what I might do is stream Classy WoW all day Thursday, like all night Thursday, and then maybe even all day Friday. Maybe I'll get some more subs. Maybe people will pay attention.
Slots. The result is at KBP 24. Sorry, keep trying. You lost 50 points.
The dogs are murdering each other over there. So if you are here, if you're paying attention, if you're watching, jump into chat. Every time you chat, you get 5 points. Then you can use it on fun slot games like that, like KBP there. He's got a new addiction, and it is the slot machine. I appreciate everybody who was here. I've got some guests coming, so I'm not going to play a video game.
Get a top hat and monocle for Classy WoW.
Maybe. It's not a bad idea. Okay. I'll think about it. Because it's classy. I appreciate everybody who came by. If you want, I will have the robot lady on Thursday for Classy WoW. I'll probably be stuck in queue all day. So tell your friends, tell them to come watch, ask complicated, difficult political questions while I'm playing Classy WoW, because that will be fun. I'll give you any ideas, I'll ramble. You got plenty of time for rambling when you're playing WoW. I'm going to start leveling a priest pretty much immediately, and then a warlock as well. Those are my two mains. I might have a friend online also to play, and if anybody else is online, give me a shout. We can play. It'll be fun. And that is the plan. That'll be all day Thursday, Friday. I took the days off of work so that I can play Thursday, Friday, and then all weekend, and then and on Monday. So I will stream a lot of that, most of that. I don't think I'm going to chop it up into YouTube segments unless it's really, really funny. But then, yeah, to bring the politics, talk about the stuff, tell me what you're thinking, tell me what you're watching, and we'll talk about video games and anime and all kinds of fun stuff on that stream. I appreciate everybody who came by. I appreciate the people watching in YouTube chat. I know that it's not, YouTube chat still shows up over here. The robot lady doesn't read it out loud, though. I'm not entirely sure why, but she doesn't. I'm not smart enough to make that happen. Oops. YouTube chat, while it doesn't get read, it does show up right here after a few seconds. Kick chat is a bit better, and it has the super cool emojis. See, there's YouTube chat. It took a while, didn't it? And then it has the super cool emojis that go flying around the screen. And then you can do that. So I
Join the Discord to send links and suggestions. https Discord GG Beignet Tritix 8.
Did I make it say that? Huh. I don't remember typing that in, but okay. So yeah, that is everything for me today. I appreciate it. It was a little bit short today, but I got people coming over. Uh, terrible, terrible choice. I don't like people. People are terrible, but they're okay. I'm just kidding.
Thanks, Waldo.
Thanks for being here. Thanks everybody. Thanks for all the chatters, and have a good